A very good Thursday afternoon to you all, and welcome along to the Lite lunch. I'm absolutely delighted with the guests we have coming in today because we have a lot to talk about. We have Jade Gavin joining us from Ziplines Ireland, and we have Denise Whitmore from the social media department. We hope we're going to have Martin O'Brien from Mullican Cafe joining us in a little while as well. But in the meantime, we'll get started with the girls and we'll see how we go. So, as always, I like to give each of the guests an opportunity to talk a little bit about their own business, seeing as they are giving up their time to come on. So, Jade, we'll start with yourself if you want to tell us a little bit about what you do.
So my main business is Ziplines Ireland. We sell ziplining equipment to domestic users and commercial users. So if you wanted a zipline in your garden, we would have all the equipment that you'd need to put that up. And also if you had a business or you wanted a zip line, we could give you the equipment for that as well. It's all CE certified and all above board. So we've been doing it for about 7 years now and it's going really well.
That's great. Sorry about that. And then Denise, if you want to tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Denise Whitmore. My company is the social media department. I'm a social media manager. So I would help businesses manage their social media platforms. It may be a case of actually logging in as the business and doing a full takeover, or it could be as simple as doing a kind of a one-to-one consultation with them. And I also run training courses as well on the likes of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for businesses. So that's me, Denise at the social media department.
That's great. Thanks, Denise. So tell me, what is the power of social media?
God, where do I start? What is the power of social media? Okay, well, I think like social media can be extremely powerful. I mean, just look at what's happening at the moment with Trump, and and he's suing the main social media platforms at the moment for because they've kicked him off for his tweets and his posts. So you can see like social media can be really powerful in one sense that it can actually create quite a lot of hate speech and riots and all of that, and then you've got the other side of it where you look at the positive side of things and what it's actually done even in our own country for certain political movements like the different referendums that we've had over the years. And they've definitely, like the abortion referendum, that was a huge success for social media. Like social media played a massive part in that referendum, and the same with the marriage one as well. So you can see that that's two kind of extremes, and that that is, I suppose, that's the power of social media, that you've got these massive platforms. And again, coming back to the whole thing about Trump and the 230 law, the fact that they're not held accountable, so Facebook and Twitter, etc., they're not held accountable for the content that has been published because they're private companies at the end of the day, and they couldn't possibly be held accountable for every single tweet that's going out. So there's huge freedom there in terms of social media as well. So.
Right, but equally, can that not cause as many problems? Because seeing as we have Trump, what about fake news and the abundance of mistruths, or depending how you want to interpret it?
Yeah, it's a massive problem at the moment. I mean, in terms of for businesses using social media, everybody knows at this stage the organic reach on the Facebook. Let's just look at Facebook for example, on the news feed. is really low. So it's about maybe 3 or 4%. And what that means is if you put something out, if you have 100 followers and you put something out, you're lucky if 3 people maybe see that in their newsfeed. So Zuckerberg, the reason why he did that is because they said as a business, they wanted their users to only see what they're really interested in. So if I'm browsing, so Jade, if you might not know, I've just had a baby, so my news feed is full of like baby stuff, okay, and like how to put your baby to sleep and cots and prams and all this stuff. Because Facebook obviously knows that that's what I'm interested in at the moment. They're not going to show me something, that I'm just not going to have any interest in. So that's kind of, Zuckerberg wanted that feel for the platform. But unfortunately, because of the actual algorithm, it's very difficult for a business to get seen in front of potential customers unless they have shown some sort of interest previously. The other side of that, coming back to the fake news, the way that the algorithm actually works and how it ranks certain posts is on popularity. But unfortunately, over the last couple of years, the popular posts are the posts that are actually creating kind of debates in the comments and stuff like that. And that's actually down to fake news as such, people kind of with conspiracy theories and things like that. So it has backfired on Facebook. The fact that the algorithm is now pushing the fake news more than stuff that is actually real, because the real stuff, I suppose, it's kind of a bit boring or whatever, and people are not commenting on it. It's the more kind of dramatic stuff that people are wanting to see. But you might have also noticed as well that, and I've seen this quite a lot actually, if people are sharing articles, videos, things like that, and if Facebook thinks that there is any false information in it, it will block it, or it'll have a little kind of warning underneath it to say, we think that this is false. Are you sure you want to share it? On Twitter, if you retweet something without clicking on the article, it'll ask you, are you sure you want to retweet this? Do you want to read the article first? So they are starting to put in, a couple of little things there. Is it too little too late? I'm not sure, but at least they're doing something.
Well, I mean, any improvement is certainly going to be an improvement. There's no question in that. And what about yourself, Jade? How has social media been for your business? Have we lost Jade there?
We might have.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting the whole question because I keep freezing here.
Right. I was asking you there, how has social media been for your business? No, maybe we'll try and get a new connection there.
Amazing.
For
like
Jade.
I literally built.
And she's back.
Gone again.
Right, what we'll do, Jade, is we'll try and get you reconnected there to see if we get a better connection with you this time. Right? All
the power. The joys
Again,
of technology and working from home.
The joys of live broadcast.
And live broadcast as well, yes, of course.
Right? It's one of those things, it's live broadcast. I'm certainly, as I said, with social media, I see so many positives, but I also see so many dangers in it, especially for younger people and that type of thing. And I know you're probably in agreement with me. I firmly believe there should be a big part of the curriculum should be around social media. And it doesn't matter what subject you want to talk about. There's no reason social media can't be built in some way.
Yeah, I mean, my business actually started back in the day. What I used to do was teach computing. So, one of the courses that I used to run was all around cyberbullying and the use of the internet safely and things like that. And so I used to go to primary schools and I would give little talks to the kids in the primary school, because I think going to secondary school is too late. So you want to start, teaching this stuff in primary school. And then I'd also kind of, it's not enough to just say it to the kids. You need to say it to the parents as well. And it's not just social media; it's technology in whole, if you ask me. So I really think that if you are going to give a child a device for them to use, you yourself should understand the parenting controls on that device. You should be setting limits. You should also have passwords and things like that. So I'll give you an example. My son, he's 21 now, but when he was, maybe 9 or 10, like he obviously grew up in a house full of technology, and he would sit in on my computer classes and stuff like that. So by the age of 9, he was absolutely no problem on the internet. He was coding websites at that stage and everything. So in order for him to go onto any social media platform, the rule was that I had his password details. I had his login details, and that I was able to log in at any time and check what he was doing. And if I couldn't log in, then all devices were taken away from him, and that was the kind of the rules. You have to be able to keep an eye on what's going on, 100%. So but like I said, there's negative and there's positive sides of things. Imagine what lockdown would have been like if we didn't have social media, if we weren't able to connect to each other, like this. It would have been far more difficult.
Right. Are you back with us now, Jade? No, I think we're still having a difficulty there.
Rural Ireland as well. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think Jade needs to tell her son to get off the Wi-Fi.
That's exactly it. Maybe we just try an audio connection with you there, Jade.
Try audio. Yeah. Yeah. What about yourself, Rory? How are you getting on anyway with lockdown and with social media? And I mean, this is great that we're actually able to do this over StreamYard. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. Well, as you know, for me, I used to be in Arklow, where I had great access, super internet, the whole lot. And then I moved up to a very rural village with a population of 90.
Lovely.
When we first moved in, we actually couldn't get broadband through the phone. So we ended up getting a line of sight broadband, which again was functional, but not ideal.
Yeah.
It was great once there was a nice day, but if it was a little bit foggy or overcast, your signal broke down.
Yeah.
Now,
that's what I have at the moment.
Yeah, line of sight.
Yeah, there's it's radio broadband. Yeah, so it's like anything like that. If there's a cloud, it's
that's
gone.
It, go. Are you back with us now, Jade? Again, unfortunately, Galway seems to be having internet issues.
I wonder if we'll ever get
fibre
across the country.
Better.
Right. Okay, if you try turning your camera off there, and we'll see if that's going to work a bit better for you.
I'm supposed to have fibre, it just doesn't work.
That's crazy.
Yes. So, and again, the whole thing is, so, is this what we're facing, that they're saying we have fibre in areas, but this is the actual quality that the fibre is going to give?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, as I'm saying,
we can't get it here at all. We're in a real kind of valley, like we're in St. Mullins in south of Carlow, and it's right down into the valley. So this building can't get fibre, can't get any kind of broadband other than the radio broadband. But kind of up the road, there's a few houses up the road, and they went as far as there, and they have fibre, but they wouldn't come down the hill down to us. Yeah. And it's ridiculous because there's definitely two businesses here anyway. So, you'd think that there's two businesses, but three families almost living here. So it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. And Jade, are you getting us now, or? struggling there with Jade at the minute. But yeah, as I was saying, so initially that was all we could get, but thankfully now we actually managed to we got fibre in, and then I got an office in one of the regional hubs, and that's where I have the studio here. So we have the super high fast broadband here. This was actually where I'm actually talking to you from is formerly a rural office for the county council.
Oh wow! And what's it like? I mean, was it closed entirely because, through lockdown, obviously, and because of COVID and everything?
As far as I know, it's been vacant for about 4 years.
Oh wow!
Some locals had got together to turn it into a community centre and a digital hub for people. Because, for example, there's hot desks available here. There's a full computer room upstairs with 10 machines in it for doing classes. Because Ballinamore is also one of the areas where we have a refugee centre.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
Rather than being a centre, they're all actually in individual apartments.
Oh, okay,
over on the hill by Tesco. So we have that in the area, and so all these courses were being run for those in the room upstairs as well.
Brilliant.
Right. We'll keep moving on, and hopefully we'll be able to get Jade back in on the discussion. So tell me, Denise, if everything went to plan and you happened to come up with a lottery win, other than getting broadband run down the hill to you, what would you look at doing with it?
Okay, so as in what are we talking here? What kind of money are we talking about?
Okay, let's talk a minor Euro Millions win of 17
minor
million.
Euro Millions. Okay, so is that, you talking maybe 10 million?
17 million is the starting point for Euro Millions. So let's look at that.
7 million.
17, 17.
Oh, 17. Okay, so 17, right. So, and I know, are you talking, what would I do with the 17 million, or what would I do within the first day or the first hour or the first week when I found out that I actually had 17 million?
Well, your overall plan on things.
The overall plan.
Yeah, so instead, what would the first big priority be?
Oh, very first priority. I'd have to sit down, this is going to sound really boring, right? But I'd probably sit down and kind of go through different family members and break it up and say, okay, I'm going to give my mom this, I'm going to give my dad this, and do it that way, and to make sure to have everybody covered. Now, they're not going to get 1 million each. They might get a fiver, right? That's you will it down. So, and I'd break it down and see how much do I actually have left then after people's mortgages are paid and stuff like that. Very boring, very sensible, I know. I think I'd definitely buy property. There's an old rundown house here that is owned by the council at the moment. And it was the old Odlum's house, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If Martin does actually come on, Martin O'Brien from Mullicona Cafe, he knows everything about this area. It's the most beautiful, magical, mystical area here. It's gorgeous. So if I had money, I would buy that house and I would restore it. And then I'd put a big gate around it and tell everybody to go away.
Right, let's see now if we've managed to get Jade back again. Have we managed to get you connected again, Jade? No, I think what we'll probably do is we might save Jade for another show when the weather's working a little bit better, because it's not fair to her to keep dragging her back in there trying to get connected. So, for anyone that does want to get in touch with Jade, I will put her full contact details up after the show on all 3 posts, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. And we will get her back on again. So thanks a lot, Jade, and we will talk to you soon. So,
that's a pity. Yeah. I wanted to know about the zip line.
Yeah, well, as I said, we'll look at what guests we have coming up over the coming weeks, and we will get Jade back in again and have a chat with her. and see if we can do something there. And so go on then, carry on with what all this you would do with your winnings.
Yeah, so I suppose property holidays. I absolutely love to travel, and I have found, obviously because of COVID and everything, I found it very difficult because normally I would be, kind of flying, even just to go over and visit my sister in Bristol. I would love to just pop onto a plane and just go over and see her for a weekend and pop back again. So like I haven't seen her since March 2020. Yeah, it was like the week or 2 weeks before everything closed down. I remember being on the plane and it sounds awful. I had a cold on the plane and there was people next to me like with anti-vax wipes, like wiping down the seats and everything, like, and I kind of, at the time I was thinking, this is ridiculous, this is just conspiracy and it's not going to be anything. And then within like 2 weeks it was crazy. It was like everything was shut down, so that's something that I really do miss, is kind of traveling and seeing the world. And so I would probably do something like that. I would more than likely travel with a bit more luxury than I would have done in the past. So what I would have done in the past, because I was a single mum for a very long time, and when myself and my son will go traveling, it will be purely on a shoestring budget. So it will be camping, and we would actually couch surf. I don't know if you're familiar with couch surfing.
Yeah.
So so couch surfing, you literally join up to this worldwide organization called couchsurfing.org, and you request to stay in people's houses for free. And in return, you can host people in your home for free. And it's a fantastic way of seeing the world on a budget, but also kind of, meeting all these different cultures and having them come to your home and everything. So my son loved it. So that's what we would do. We would camp around Europe, and we would stay with people, or we would actually camp in their gardens for free. And so that's kind of, I think if I was to do any traveling now, I would definitely spend the lotto on doing it a little bit more luxurious, I think.
Yeah. No, it certainly sounds like you've got the basis of a plan.
I haven't thought about this at all. Like.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say to you is, if you have 17 million, I would be going and I would be talking to the banks and saying, right, which of you want my money? So who's going to buy me the house? And hold on to your lump sum so you can enjoy the interest on it. Very
clever, yeah.
Right, but no, I absolutely agree with you. So on that then, in relation to tourism, given the current circumstance, now I know having just had a baby, travel probably isn't very high on your agenda at the moment. But if you were going to do tourism, would you go home or away? So vacation or staycation?
I think staycation. We've actually booked ourselves into Centre Parks in November for 3 days. So that's our goal, to get to November and to get there. So it's a bunch of us going, all family members. We've got 3 houses next to each other. And there's 15 kids going as well. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Now, in saying that, we are thinking of going maybe to like the Canary Islands or something like that in January, purely just for a kind of just a sun, relaxation kind of holiday. So, but it won't be until January next year before we're even looking at going outside of the country.
Absolutely. It's one of those. I mean, down at Centre Parks, you will have a great time.
I've never been.
The facilities they have are outstanding. There's plenty you can do without spending money, but there's a lot more to do if you're willing to spend money.
Yes, I've been looking it up actually. It sounds great. I was looking at the subtropical pool and everything. That looks great, because it is something that you kind of miss doing as well. It's like sitting out in the sunshine. Not that we get much sunshine here,
Absolutely.
By the pool, lounging by the pool. What about yourself then, Rory? What would you spend your money on?
For me, it's an absolute no-brainer. So 17 million.
Yeah.
2 million of that would go into, as such, the slush fund.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 million of it put into a valuable government bond. So a 10-year government bond giving a
That's very
yield of
sensible.
10%
Yeah.
per annum for the 10 years. So at the end of 10 years, your 10 million has become 20 million.
Are you not happy with the 17 million that you have now?
And then the 5 million would go on prize bonds, which means you're guaranteed your 5 million back at the end of it. And you're certainly going to pick up small wins along the way as well that can go into the slush fund.
Prize bonds. That's what you spend 5 million on, prize bonds. Oh my god.
Well, as I said to you, I mean, hold on, you hold on to that lump sum,
Yeah.
right? And you use the interest of it to do everything else you'd like to do.
Yeah.
As I said, there's the 2 million slush fund sitting in the bank means the bank will be happy to talk to you about giving you the mortgage, which the interest on the 2 million is going to pay.
Yeah.
You can look after family and that type of thing, but the important thing to remember, if you're planning on gifting to family and that type of thing, you need to have your list worked out beforehand.
Well, it's a syndicate, you see. So when you on the
Correct,
back
yes.
of the ticket, you write all their names down. So
But you don't even need to do that. You can have a sheet written out that everyone has signed as to exactly what their allocation is.
Ah.
So you sit down and you do the percentages, and then you all go in and collect it together as a syndicate.
Yeah.
And there's nothing says a syndicate has to be split. If there's 10 people, it's 10% each. It can be 1% for this person, 0.5% for that. So,
I get you. Yeah.
To make sure you protect the tax-free status.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Now we have some comments coming in.
We have somebody coming in, do we?
There'll be some comments coming in there. So
okay.
Someone said,
Great idea with the big house.
Yes.
As in, like, buying the big house or putting the gate around it. Getting everybody to leave me alone.
Right. And Jade has actually sent in a message there as well. Sorry, guys, fibre broadband. Yeah, well. And I know Jade will still be watching, so she'll be delighted to see this. Monique wanted to let you know that you look lovely frozen. So,
I was thinking the same. Like, there's nothing worse than getting a frozen camera and you look really strange. Yes. So at least you look really well.
That's exactly it. So we'll do that. But what we'll do very quickly is we'll just go to a very quick ad break, and we'll be back then with more with yourselves.
I know a place where you can go to play a game you love and know. You'll have some wine, and the show is called Valentino's Bingo Mondays.
And we're back again with Denise Whitmore. So, Denise, one of the questions that every guest that comes on the show gets asked is, what would be your ideal light bite lunch?
I like avocado, the avocado smash on kind of toast. I'm very lucky because lucky and not so lucky, as in it's a bit too convenient, to be honest with you, but my partner runs a cafe and it's literally next door. So I put in an order over my phone and say, can I have whatever? So it could be, I could have waffles, I could have a wrap, or whatever I want. I could have the avocados or salad or whatever. So, or scone. So I'm really am spoiled for choice. But like I said, it's a bit too convenient because after, having a baby and trying to kind of get back into my jeans, it's very difficult to say no to that lovely, pizzas or scones or waffles or croissants next door. But favorite light lunch, I suppose, let's say if the cafe wasn't there, I like cheese and crackers and a cup of tea.
Oh, you've got to have
Keep
the
it
thing.
simple. Keep it simple. Or actually, it might not be a light lunch, but it's a light dinner. And one of my favorite meals, if you could call it a meal, is beans on toast.
Yeah,
So that's my favorite, beans on toast.
absolutely. Again, it serves the purpose perfectly, and it's great when you're looking for something quick. I mean,
Yeah.
quite often, from myself and Cheryl will often do boxed egg and beans for breakfast,
Oh yeah.
right? Which of course, down where you are, you wouldn't see a whole lot of boxed. Yeah, it's an old Irish potato cake type.
Oh, okay. What's in it?
It is literally potato.
It's potato.
It is potato, but it's made up like a little potato bread,
Oh, okay.
right? So you've got your potato cake, you've your poached
Yeah.
eggs, you've your beans, and I see actually Jade has come back again to say
Avocado
avocado
toast.
toast. Yeah, the only thing about it is there, to get the best out of avocado, it needs to be a sourdough toast.
Yes. Yes. And well, like that's what the cafe have. So,
Ah, yeah,
you
no,
know,
that's exactly
it's
it.
like I'm not making the avocado myself. Oh no. No. I get them to do that. No,
That's
I think I
exactly
could. The furthest I could go is beans on toast. Like that's my limit.
yeah. So we're hearing a lot of talk, and there's a new plan for next year to introduce a 4-day working week. Right? Do you think it's going to make people more productive? Do you think it's going to be abused?
It's not. Is. Did you say it's coming in?
There is a pilot program starting in January.
No way.
The companies
Well,
can
see,
have.
I've just
Yeah.
had my head under a rock, and I've got serious baby brain at the moment as well. So like,
No,
I didn't hear.
again,
I've heard of this idea. I think was it brought into France previously? I think.
France are piloting it, and Italy are
Yes. Yeah.
piloting it.
Yeah.
So they're
I don't
looking
know.
at.
I don't know if it's going to make any difference. I think for me, being self-employed, not sure it's going to affect my business, especially the industry that I'm in. I mean, for example, 4th of July fell on a Sunday this year. One of my biggest clients, their fan base is in the US. So that was a very busy day for me, posting and retweeting and making sure everything was okay on that day, and that's a Sunday. And as well as that, just talking about that particular client, I could be up quite late because it's on US time as well. So I don't know if that's going to, if it's actually going to affect me. Now, it's most definitely not going to affect the hospitality because they're open 7 days anyway. They're not going to be able to just close like 3 days of the week. Office wise, is it going to make people more productive? I don't know. I think it'd be very interesting to see if you have to get your work done within a certain time, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that Monique, who's one of the viewers we have on at the moment there, her company have for years been operating a 4-day week, and it works
Oh
very,
wow.
very well for them. But where I see they're talking about it being an environmental type incentive because there's going to be less operations in the office, less electric being run, etc. My concern is, are you going to see for companies where they're saying, well, actually, because everyone picks their own 4 days, that we're actually going to put 2 teams in doing 4 days on, 4 days off.
Yeah.
And you're then going to have companies going 7 days a week. So
7
for
days. Yeah.
self-employed people, we don't have a choice but to be available 7 days a week as and when they need us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. And, is it going to reduce traffic? I mean, you also have to have a look at, because post-COVID, so many businesses are going to choose to continue working from home as well. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think it is going to be really interesting.
I love the idea, on condition it's going to be managed properly and it's not going to be abused,
Yeah.
that people are going to be given ridiculous targets to hit to
That's
qualify
true
for
as
their
well.
4 days.
Yeah, that's very true as well. And I mean, I'm sure that from an employer's point of view, it's probably a little scary, you
Yeah.
know, like, are they going to be able to actually get what they need out of their employees during that time? Is it going to, is it going to affect holiday time then as well? Is it going to affect sick leave? I suppose we just don't know.
Well, I mean, they're also looking at compulsory sick leave as well, where the employer is going to have a responsibility to pay sick pay.
Yeah.
And again, it's the same thing. If it's going to be managed properly, that's great, but there's also a huge amount of opportunity for abuse. And
Yeah,
again,
I'm sure there's probably a lot of businesses out there that won't be able to survive if they've only got their employees in there for 4 days.
Yeah, and they still have to pay them the 5-day wage, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a case of, we're reducing your hours, so therefore we're reducing your pay.
Yeah.
So I do see certainly many challenges with it, but I see great opportunities on condition it's not going to be over-regulated, but at the same time that there will be certain controls in place.
Yeah, it's a real tricky one, like, because like, having worked in, different marketing industries in different companies over the years, like, and working that kind of 5-day week, obviously, and being in quite, I suppose, stressful situations as well, and it would, your anxiety would be very high, and like that, your workload could be very high. If you are reducing the 5 days and squashing all of that into 4 days, is it going to increase people's anxiety? Or because you've got the 3-day break, is it going to decrease it? So it's a real difficult one. Are you going to have serious highs and serious lows in the workplace? Like, so look, we just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see.
Well, I think Jill has it summed up perfectly there in her comment that 4-day week is a great idea for people to have more downtime, but for self-employed people, they're already earning enough hours in the day.
No. I think that's because when you're self-employed, when it's your own business, you're never off. So
No.
even when you take a day off, your brain is still thinking about different things that you could be doing. Sometimes I actually get the best ideas when I am taking downtime. I mean, I sent a marketing email last night at 11:30 because I was lying in bed and had all these ideas just came to me, and I was like, oh my God, I have to get it down into an email. And I sent it off. Now, if we were in France, that'd actually be illegal to do because you're not allowed to be emailing people outside of office hours if it's work related. But I suppose, in my opinion, is that I can send it, but I'm not expecting the person to open it and reply at that hour. And I would hope that they don't have notifications turned on for when they've got emails coming through.
Yeah, no, I'd be of exactly the same mindset as you. It's better to send it now. So, although I have managed to, I figured out how to use scheduling on Gmail. So,
yeah, I'm sure I probably could have done something like that, or just written it and put it into my draft and sent it then. But my fear is that, like I said, because I've just had the baby, if I didn't send it then and there, I'd forget that it was in my draft. And I might not actually send it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
He takes up a lot of brain power.
Yeah. So you were talking about having the cafe next door.
Yes.
Have they managed to put in any outdoor seating, or are they purely a takeaway?
No, so it's takeaway at the moment. It's been takeaway for the majority of the last 2 years, really, or last year, I should say. That's 2 seasons. And they were lucky that where the location is a real kind of tourist location. So they already had lots of outdoor benches and stuff like that, but they're not doing table service for the outdoors yet.
Yeah.
So if you come up to the window, you place your order, and then you can go find a seat, a nice bench next to the river, and enjoy your takeaway there. So like they've done really well, kind of putting different things in place to keep the staff and the customers safe, while still trying to get the business ticking over as well.
Yeah, well, it's so difficult. I mean, one of the guests that we had hoped to have joining us today is a publican in Dublin. He's been closed since March last year.
Yeah, you were saying that's crazy. Does he not have? He doesn't have any outdoor seating or anything.
He has no room for outdoor seating and nowhere he could actually put outdoor seating.
Yeah.
Because all the footpaths around him are extremely narrow, and there's traffic whizzing up and down past the place. So any sort of an obstruction would be an obstruction to pedestrians and would be too dangerous. So all of these things could pose an issue. And I mean, he's in a position now where when he reopens, he has over 100,000 of rent to repay.
Wow.
Before he starts anything. So, I mean, it's a real struggle for him. And what's your thoughts where they're talking about allowing indoor dining for vaccinated people? Is it viable for premises to check every single person? We're just actually...
really don't know.
I think Martin is actually just about to join us.
Oh, fab. There he is.
How are you, Martin?
How are you? It worked.
Great.
It
Great that you were able to join us. We've just started talking about hospitality and outdoor dining, so you're right on time.
Thank you very much.
So what I'll do is I'll just give you 2 minutes there to actually tell people a little bit about yourself and why you're the right man to talk to us about outdoor dining.
Okay. I suppose we're unique in the outdoor dining sector in that we have a restaurant here is down St. Mullins in South Santa Carlo on the banks of the River Barrow, and we have all our tables. We have a huge number of tables out on actually sitting on the river. So when the close down came, we were able to kind of immediately move our business outside. However, when the rain comes down, as you all know, that kind of makes a total mick of that. But at the moment, we're doing fine. No complaints. Last year, believe it or not, turned into a relatively good year, in spite of all the opening and closing. We're watching at the moment with we've 2 floors inside for indoor dining. And at the moment, we takeaway. And if we go to outdoor service on tables, the difficulty is the rain comes and people have nowhere to go. So we're sticking for the moment with takeaway. People come to a window, they can see the menus outside. The girls deliver the food to a table. In other words, we're keeping our staff away from customers. So they order at the window, it's delivered to a table, and then people look after themselves, and then they put all the debris afterwards. I suppose the big cost for outdoor or for takeaway type dining is the amount of rubbish produced in cardboard, plastic, cups, you name it. In other words, our dishwashers are redundant at the moment. We'd love to get back to full service. It's what we're known for. To sit with a cappuccino in a proper cup versus a takeaway cup, and to actually be served at the table is what people are waiting for. So look, at the moment we're doing fine. We're just praying that this reopening comes relatively quickly, as people are getting sick and tired of the takeaway fare. So that's our story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, as someone who enjoys a good cappuccino, I can totally agree. Nothing beats having it in a real cup.
Exactly.
So, how do you feel about what they're talking about you having to check that the people are vaccinated before letting them through the doors?
I think it's a bit of a joke. The idea of, like many years ago when I was buying my first house, I took a part-time job as a bouncer in Good Time Charlie's in O'Connell Street. So what we'd be looking for is a bouncer on the door. How do you supervise this? You're on the side of a river. You have people coming, cycling, walking. those who want to take away coffee, those who want to sit in, sit out. Your loser inside. Are you going to get? You can't go to the toilet unless I can take your certificate. You know, it's. I think I'd nearly prefer that it was delayed and then fully opened, with none of that. I think
Yeah,
they said.
because
Sorry, Denise.
like sorry, Martin, what you're actually going to end up having is places that the staff can't actually, so the staff working in the restaurants and cafes can't actually attend there themselves because they're not vaccinated yet.
Yes.
So, like,
Yes.
the cafe would have quite a lot of young staff, and they're not going to be vaccinated for a while. So legally, they can't come in and attend their own premises. Like, it's crazy.
See, at the moment, when the girls come in the morning, there's 24 working here on shifts, right? They come in here, they change in the staff changing room, they take their temperatures, which are recorded, they put on their masks, but they're not engaging with customers outside. Once you open the doors, they have to engage. Now, when we had the 2 meter rule with the tables, I think that it worked very, very well, because like in our situation, our floors will be very well ventilated. But we see in a lot of places now they're doing takeaway, but you can't go to the loo, and you can't. My mommy always said everybody has to go to the toilet. It's people have to come in to use the facilities, which we are available at the moment with us. And people come in one by one. There's no queuing inside and whatever. But a lot of places have used it as an excuse to close the bloody door of the toilets. And there are no public toilets. They don't exist. We have public toilets here now in St. Mullins, but they're up the top of the hill beside the graveyard. They're not down beside the river where all the people are. And are you going to tell Granny to get up that hill?
No.
Well, I just see a comment there. Again, Jade has made another comment in relation to this. I feel so bad for people in the hospitality industry who've had to close for so long. You know, with the COVID passport, how do families go for dinners? As most kids won't be vaccinated.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think
great
just,
point.
I feel very sorry for the people who are actually totally indoor. They've no option for outdoor. I mean, that is just killing businesses. And I suppose the question mark is, do we as a society accept now that all of us older people like me have been vaccinated, that we're not going to end up in hospital, we're not going. If that is the case, why not start opening? There's 2 million people in Ireland now vaccinated fully. So why not start opening? Again, the same thing, rules. Keep the 2 meters between tables, wash your hands, make sure the place is ventilated. Yeah, like go back to the way we had it, rather than trying to introduce some, I don't know, silly.
It's one of those things that's going to be very difficult to police.
Especially when you see what the UK are doing. Like the UK are going from, way extreme. They're opening up nightclubs in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Like, and then we're looking at, it's
restaurants.
Crazy.
Well, a nightclub, in my opinion, should not be open. And look, the gang, when you get a gang of youngsters together, they don't give a fit. There's a couple of jars and they're worse. So I think that nightclubs and large events, I think restaurants and pubs should be open with a level of restriction within them, but not somebody standing at the door looking for your digital bloody cert. I think it's a digital company is selling that.
Well, it's funny because there's actually a cafe in Cavan, and they came up with a fabulous idea where they were doing park and dine. So you pull up in your car, they take the order.
Sorry?
Right? Yeah, they're doing park and dine. So you pull up in your car and you park outside. They take the order of the car and they bring it out and hand it into you on a tray, sitting in the car. Plate, knife and fork. The coffees still came in paper cups though, so that was disappointing.
Yes. I think that Eamon Ryan must be turning in his bed every night with the amount of disposable
packaging.
Yeah, it is. It's awful.
Unreal what we've produced in the last couple of months. We expanded our bin collection. We still go to the dump sometimes twice a week. Oh, so not we, me.
It's the royal we, Martin. The royal we.
The royal we. But like, business, we're blessed here. Business is very, very good. But if I drive into New Ross or I drive into Carlow or Wexford, you can see the effect that it's having. We are very much a summer business. So otherwise, it's not summer. We're only like May to the end of September is our busy period. But at this moment, from July to the end of August, this is when we make money. If we don't make it in that period, you're not going to make it outside that period. So you're basically saying, come the end of the year, we have made a loss. And you're never going to get it back. When we have a busy weekend here, and they can be very busy, people say, oh, you're making a fortune.
What about the other 51 weeks of the year?
But they've no concept of the actual costs of insurance, wages, even down to like things like sewerage. We have our own sewerage system here. The council's not paying for that. We're paying for that. So a lot of small businesses are paying for a lot of things that you don't see. An awful lot of things you don't see. And there is no assistance from anybody. All they want is money off you. It's fees for this and fees for that. We spent a lot of money this year getting ready for bicycle hire, and we haven't moved on it now. With the building is finished, simply because insurance. Yeah. Our insurance broker is currently searching to see if he can find anybody who will insure us to rent out bicycles. And it's not about how much. Finding somebody who will. So it looks like after spending all the money on getting ready for this, that we can't do it.
And yet the country is encouraged to stay outside, to go outside and to do these outdoor activities. And it's very difficult to actually find them as well. And just talk about how busy the cafe is. Like, and when I see it here, if there's a cloud in the sky, then the crowds are gone. They're gone. Sure. So you're relying, it's amazing to see. The sun was out in the morning, there's a crowd there, but by the afternoon, if the clouds are there, the crowd is gone. So it's that temperamental,
But there is also another element. They talk about the older people. We would have a lot of. I've got to be very careful when I say older people, because I'm kind of getting there. I'm kind of there myself. But the ones a little older than me, we get a lot of those people coming here, and an awful lot of people who are in some way incapacitated. And you might say, why here? Because it's a beautiful place, because they have access, they have a loos downstairs, they have we've smashing staff here. So there's something warm and cuddly about it inside for those people. And they're now, to a degree, excluded. So you're saying to older people, get out, but you get out and you sit in the rain, but you can't go inside even though you're fully vaccinated. It really is stretching the restrictive level on people's lives. If you're 78 or 90, 78 or 80 years of age, 2 years out of your life completely, is an awful length of time.
Yes.
What we notice meeting elderly people here now is that, and we will stop to talk to them, but they're so lost because they have nobody to talk to. And if you're sitting in a house by yourself, if your daughter or son brings you out, you need somebody else to talk to. I know from my own mother, you need somebody else to talk to tell your scale to. And they're totally deprived of that. Are they going to come along with the digital pass, but the daughter can't come in because she hasn't got one? Or Jesus, no.
Yeah.
Do away with it. Stop trying to appease people. Make a decision.
I think the amount of money that they're going to be spending on this QR code or digital search or something like that, and the app that's going to go with it, and the rolling out of it, and the manpower behind trying to get the database right and all of this stuff.
Sure.
I think it'd be better putting into getting everybody vaccinated quickly. Just get everybody in the country vaccinated, and let's just move on. And I can guarantee you there's going to be some sort of data breach when we do this digital search. Somebody's going to leak something, or it's going to be hacked or something like that. And on top of that, like if you have a digital certificate, right? What is stopping, or the printed paper even? What's stopping somebody from just Tipexing it and putting somebody else's name on it? Like
they'll be out the following day.
Yeah, well, there's all these questions are things that are certainly going to need to be answered. But yes, I mean, you were talking there about about the sleepless night for Eamon Ryan. I hear this morning that they're actually now looking to ban balloons at children's birthday parties because they're single-use plastic.
You see, they can't have plastic straws either, or stirrers, or.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm a greenie, so you know.
We know you're a greenie.
Series, right?
No.
I agree with the plastic straws. Get rid of the plastic straws. The balloons. I think the main problem is when they're sending up those the Chinese lanterns and the balloons full of helium, and they're going up into the sky and they're falling into fields, and there's horses and ponies eating them and stuff like
lovely.
that. Like, and I think that's the problem as well.
No,
but look, we could talk about straws and plastic and all of this, but until the oceans are sorted out, there's absolutely no point. Your little straw in the ocean is only a small little bit of plastic. The other stuff is the problem.
Stop making plastic and stop bringing cheeky Charlies from China.
Yeah, you know, if you go to Rwanda,
you remember the cheeky Charlies? Sorry, go on. Sorry.
I have no idea what you're talking about. If you go to Rwanda, they literally have a plastic bag ban. It's illegal to bring plastic bags into that country. And I think that's a fantastic idea. And if an African country like Rwanda can do that, why can't we do that here?
No,
ban them.
But the plastic bags here, you now have to pay for them. But if you stand in a line in a supermarket, people just, forgot it, buy another one.
Yeah.
They're not dear enough. They're not expensive enough. So it's still, it hasn't worked.
And I'm actually probably even more guilty of that, in that I will have a bag of bags in the back of my van.
Yeah.
And I'll have gone in without them, and I'll still end up picking up another one.
I'm the very same. My car is full of plastic bags.
So what I actually have now is I carry a load of cardboard boxes in the back of the van.
And that way I can forget them.
Empty the trolley.
I don't even think about bringing them in, because then I bring the trolley over to the car when it's loaded, and I pack it in then in cupboard by cupboard as to where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, you have them in sections. Yeah, very important.
And that way when I bring the shopping in, it's done and dusted. I know this is going to the fridge, so the box goes in, and everything in that is for the fridge or for the freezer.
You're very domesticated.
My other half has me well equipped. I'm the first to admit it. Well, I have to say, I'm certainly looking forward to getting down and trying the coffee shop, because if you do a good cappuccino, then it's a place I'm certainly going to have to visit. And it's not too far of a run from Leitrim.
Where are you living?
I'm in Leitrim, on the Cavan-Leitrim Fermanagh border.
All right, okay. You'll be welcome anytime.
No, well, I do. I'm down in Wexford maybe once a month, and there's no reason I can't slip across by New Ross and up into Carlow that way. So,
well, we're right on the border of New Ross.
Yeah,
so we're close to New Ross and Carlow.
R95XY93. R95XY93.
That's the way. Get the air code out there. No, but as I said, certainly I'll be talking to Denise up and down, and I'll let you know when I'm going to get down that way. Well, listen, thank you both so much for the time again. Apologies to Jade that we didn't work today, but successfully have her on the show. We will be back.
You'll be sending this to Leo now, and to Michal and to Eamon in bed.
Oh, absolutely. We'll send it with your love, Martin.
Right. Thanks a million.
So on behalf of the guests today, and Denise, Martin and Jade, who unfortunately we're having difficulties with, this has been the Lite Bite Lunch, and we look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks' time when we're back with another panel of guests.